Starseed, a profound energetic shift has finalized, and the sudden calling you have been sensing is not an illusion. It is the immediate commencement of your true planetary assignment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. What follows is a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered without distortion. They did not wait for you to be ready. They acted because you are ready. This new mandate is not a symbol, not a metaphor. It is a living transfer of cosmic responsibility descending into your physical vessel at this exact moment. The blueprints have changed. The old structures of your life have crumbled simply to make room for this specific assignment. You didn't find this transmission. It found you. Something inside you called this in before you ever pressed play. That is not coincidence. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how this new mission operates, what it demands of your frequency, and how to fully receive it. But here is the first revelation. This role was never something you had to earn through struggle. It was always yours by cosmic design. This is restoration, not reward. Before we go deeper, anchor your frequency here. Like this transmission. Subscribe to this channel. Comment 333 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning right now. Declare your galactic intention below and reply to another soul's declaration to amplify the signal. This is a point of reconnection. Your soul has been waiting for this moment. You are not here by accident. There is a reason you are awake right now. There is a reason the systems, the careers, and the relationships of the old paradigm have been actively ejecting you. Not the waking at strange hours of the night with a heart pounding with unexplained anticipation. Not the dreams more real than waking life, where you are receiving instructions in rooms made of pure light. Not the profound homesickness for a home you've never visited in this physical body. All of it has been orchestrated. Every piece of it has been leading you here, to this exact transmission, at this exact moment in your timeline. You have felt a quiet, persistent urgency building beneath your skin. The world around you may look the same to the sleeping eye, but to you, the air is thick with the electricity of imminent change. You are sensing the arrival of your new job. This is not a task of the Matrix. This is not a role you apply for. This is a sudden, absolute recalibration of your soul's purpose on this planet. The suddenness of this calling is jarring only because you have been conditioned to expect linear progression. But the universe operates in quantum leaps. You have spent lifetimes preparing the vessel, enduring the density of this dimension, feeling the profound isolation of being a multidimensional being in a profoundly restricted world. That isolation was your training ground. That deep, unshakable sense that you were meant for something monumental was not an egoic fantasy. It was the echo of this exact assignment, vibrating backward through time to keep you moving forward. You are being called to the front lines of the planetary ascension, and the position opens now. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. And what I'm sharing now is only the surface. There are 9 codes the Arcturian Council uses to seal an activation like the one moving through you right now, and most Starseeds never find them on their own. Hold that. Before this transmission ends, I'll show you exactly where they are. Now, let us go deeper, because what the Arcturian High Council wants you to understand is this. The sudden calling you are feeling, this new planetary job, requires a radical shift in how you view your past. You must understand the first fundamental truth of your awakening. The profound disconnection and loneliness you have carried throughout your life was never a failure of adaptation. It was protective insulation. You have felt the weight of this dimension. You have felt the crushing density of a world that operates on fear, extraction, and superficiality. You have felt the exhaustion that sleep cannot touch, the kind of weariness that comes from processing heavy, artificial frequencies just by walking into a crowded room. The Matrix told you that you were too sensitive, too emotional, too fragile for this reality. It diagnosed your multidimensional awareness as a disorder. But they were wrong. You were never too fragile. You were simply too vast, too luminous, too powerful for the tiny, suffocating containers they offered you. Your energetic field required isolation to prevent complete assimilation into the 3D density. The dark, the confusion, the profound disconnection. This was the cocoon necessary to protect your galactic DNA until the exact moment of this activation. Your perceived inability to fit in was the very mechanism that kept your frequency pure. You dimmed your light so you wouldn't blind the sleeping, and you hid your power so you would not be targeted before you were strong enough to stand at full height. But the time for hiding is over. The pressure you have endured was not punishment. It was cosmic pressure forging a diamond. The universe required you to experience the lowest densities so that when you finally claimed your new role, you would understand exactly how to anchor the highest light into the deepest mud. This new assignment does not ask you to escape Earth. It demands that you firmly plant your feet upon it. You have felt it your entire life, haven't you? The sudden exhaustion that sweeps over you in certain environments, the sharp physical intolerance for artificial substances, the sudden urge to retreat into absolute silence when the noise of the collective becomes unbearable. You have felt the profound draining of your life force when forced to engage in superficial talk that holds no resonance with your soul. The Matrix tried to diagnose your expansion as a disease. They told you your sensitivities were disorders, that your chronic fatigue was a failure of your physical vessel, that your need for isolation was a symptom of depression. I am here to deliver the second truth of your awakening. You are not broken waiting to be fixed. You are profoundly encoded waiting to be activated. Your physical body is not failing. It is currently undergoing a massive structural overhaul. Your DNA is not merely a biological blueprint. It is a multidimensional library of galactic instruction. And right now, the seals on that library are breaking. As this sudden new planetary assignment descends upon you, your physical vessel is downloading and integrating high-frequency light codes at an unprecedented rate. This requires immense cellular energy. The exhaustion you feel, the bone-deep weariness that a normal night of sleep cannot touch, is not weakness. It is the intense physical toll of processing profound energetic upgrades while simultaneously navigating a dense, low-frequency realm. Your inability to tolerate lower vibrations is your greatest asset. Whether it is a toxic workplace, artificial foods, or relationships devoid of absolute truth, your rejection of these things is not a flaw in your character. It is an advanced energetic radar coming fully online. It is your nervous system aggressively rejecting anything that does not perfectly align with the frequency of your newly activated mission. You have spent decades walking through this world feeling like a malfunctioning human, when in absolute truth, you are a perfectly functioning multidimensional being. You are operating an advanced biological vessel under extreme gravitational and energetic duress. You must stop apologizing for the severe boundaries your body is forcing you to set. Every single time you pull away from density, you are preserving the exact life force required to anchor the next wave of your galactic assignment. The world will try to convince you to override this radar. Do not let them. Your vessel is the instrument of the shift, and its sensitivity is the very mechanism that allows you to read the subtle frequencies necessary for your new job. This brings us to the third truth, the anchoring transmission of your new galactic assignment. For so long, you have looked at the night sky and begged to go home. You have felt the crushing density of this planet and believed that your spiritual awakening was a ticket out of here, an escape pod from a world you never fully belonged to. But your awakening is not an escape plan. It is an infiltration strategy. Your mission is not out there in the ether. Your mission is right here, in this exact timeline, anchored firmly into this physical body. You are the absolute bridge between the high cosmic frequencies and the heavy dirt of this planet. You did not come here to float above the fray. You came here to drag the pure light down into the deep mud. You have felt the overwhelming urge to detach, to float away from the pain of the collective, to isolate yourself in a bubble of sterile, untouched peace. But the Arcturian Council decrees this. The crown of your new assignment is not placed upon a floating, ungrounded spirit. The crown is placed upon the fiercely grounded, fully incarnated, unapologetic you, And this naturally ignites the fourth activation of your remembrance. Your energetic field itself is the primary transmission. You have spent years exhausting your physical and emotional reserves trying to wake people up. You have argued, you have patiently explained, you have desperately tried to translate multidimensional concepts into the dense, limited language of the Matrix, only to be met with blank stares, cold mockery, or outright hostility. You have felt the deep, hollow frustration of holding immense, world-shattering truth within your chest, while those around you remain aggressively committed to their own sleep. Hear this clearly. Stop trying to convince them. You do not need to defend your frequency to minds built to misunderstand it. You do not need to preach. You only need to be. When you simply anchor this massive, newly assigned frequency into your physical vessel, your mere presence disrupts the low-frequency programming of the rooms you walk into. Your radiating light becomes an inescapable mirror, and without you saying a single spoken word, your presence forces the unresolved shadows, the hidden traumas, and the concealed lies of others to aggressively surface for clearing. This is exactly why people suddenly become incredibly uncomfortable around you. This is why long-standing relationships suddenly shatter without a logical explanation. It is not because you did something wrong. It is because your newly activated energetic field is completely intolerable to anything that is not entirely true. You are a walking, breathing activation sequence, and your only job now is to firmly hold the frequency that makes the old, dense paradigm entirely impossible to sustain. This brings forward the fifth activation of your galactic blueprint. For entirely too long, you have lived under the suffocating mandate of making others comfortable with your existence. You have actively diminished your vastness, shrinking your energetic wingspan so that those committed to the Matrix would not feel threatened by your light. You have apologized for your depth. You have watered down your ancient knowing to make it palatable for a society that feeds on superficiality. But the Arcturian Council declares this with absolute finality. The chapter of your contraction is officially complete. You are no longer permitted to play small in a world that desperately requires your absolute magnitude. This new planetary job demands that you stand at your full, towering, multidimensional height. You must understand that every single time you dim your light to appease the sleeping, you are actively delaying the collective ascension. You are withholding the exact frequency this planet requires to break free from its density. Your magnitude is not an insult to others. It is an invitation for them to rise. You have looked back at the timeline of your life and felt a profound sense of delay. You have watched others effortlessly build careers, families, and stable lives within the 3D structure, while your own path seemed littered with constant destruction, sudden endings, and agonizing delays. You have felt the sting of believing you were somehow failing at this human experience, constantly falling behind the perceived schedule of the collective. This is the grand reframe you must integrate right now. The delays were never punishments. They were sacred, meticulously planned pauses. The destruction of your old life, the crumbling of relationships that could not hold your expanding frequency, the collapse of careers that drained your life force, was not a failure of manifestation. It was the deliberate, necessary clearing of the landing pad. The new job you are receiving requires a pristine foundation. You could not bring the heavy, dense baggage of your false matrix identity into this sacred assignment. You are not late. You have not missed your cosmic window. You are arriving at the exact coordinate of your ultimate purpose, precisely on schedule. Every single heartbreak, every profound betrayal, and every crushing disappointment was deliberately engineered to build the unshakable emotional and energetic resilience required to hold the heavy crown of this new assignment. You had to be broken completely open so that you could not be broken again by the turbulence of the coming planetary shift. And now we arrive at the ultimate transmission, the core truth that binds all previous activations together and seals your new planetary assignment. For years, you have carried a deep, unspoken guilt that you took entirely too long to wake up. You have looked at the chaotic state of the world and felt a crushing, immediate responsibility accompanied by a quiet shame that you were trapped in the Matrix programming for so many years while the planet suffered. You have felt the regret of the lost years, the relationships that kept you stagnant, the careers that kept you distracted. But the Arcturian Council now reveals the absolute, perfect design behind your temporary slumber. You actively chose to delay your own remembrance. You did not fall asleep because you were weak, and you did not forget your origins because the Matrix defeated you. You deliberately plunged yourself into the profound, suffocating amnesia of the 3D reality so that your awakening would be a fully lived experience, not merely understood as a distant theoretical concept. You chose the amnesia. You chose the agonizing dark nights of the soul. You chose the profound confusion so you could learn the mechanics of remembering from the inside out. You must understand that you cannot guide a collective out of a frequency prison if you have never tasted its walls, if you have never breathed its recycled air, or if you have never felt the heavy, paralyzing chains of its conditioning. You had to become fully, messily human in order to master the human escape sequence. Your years of forgetting were not wasted time. They were the most vital, dangerous research your soul ever conducted. By battling the density, the profound depression, the false matrix identities, and the heavy emotional gravity of this planet, you carved an energetic map into your own DNA. You are now holding the literal cartography of Ascension. When you stand up and accept this sudden new planetary job, you will not be leading from some detached realm above. You will be illuminating the path for millions of souls who are stumbling through the exact same darkness you have just successfully conquered. The crown that is being energetically placed upon you at this very moment, the ultimate symbol of your new assignment, is not a crown of dominion over others. It grants no authority to force anyone to wake up. It is the absolute granting of sovereignty over the self. It acts as a multidimensional magnet, violently calling every fragmented soul piece, the pieces you abandoned in past traumas, the pieces you hid just to survive your childhood, the pieces scattered and bleeding across different timelines, back into the fiercely protected, activated center of your heart. Your new job is not to save the world by force or persuasion. Your job is to become so deeply integrated, so profoundly sovereign, that your physical existence shatters the illusion of powerlessness in everyone you look at. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. And if something just moved in you while I spoke, that was not random. That was recognition. Thousands of starseeds have already opened these codes, and almost everyone says the same thing afterward. I wish I'd found this sooner. The 9 Hidden Arcturian Codes is a 47-page transmission, holding the exact techniques the Council uses for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The 9 keys most starseeds spend years searching for and never find. The question was never whether you're ready. You wouldn't have heard this far if you weren't. The only question left is, are you next? The link is in the first pinned comment. Open for 72 hours at the launch price, then it closes. Now, as this transmission concludes, I ask you to anchor this frequency deeply into your physical vessel. Speak these words aloud or silently with absolute conviction. I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I activate my soul mission with grace and clarity. The time for waiting has expired. The time for hiding your magnitude is completely over. I want you to go to the comments right now and write the one specific thing you are choosing to activate today. Do not just leave your declaration. Read through the words of your galactic brothers and sisters. Reply to another comment that resonates with your spirit. We are building a living, breathing field of collective activation, and your specific energetic signature is required to complete the circuit. Share this transmission with someone who suddenly came to your mind while you were listening. That is their soul calling out to yours for this exact frequency. Subscribe to this channel and join an ever-expanding galactic family committed to anchoring the highest light on this planet. You are exactly where you are meant to be, doing exactly what your soul came here to do, and we are only just beginning.